What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. My name is Sia Nejad, and we got to see how we did on the recap screen before we bring in the stars of the show. Monday recap, we go 4-2. Yesterday it was 10-3. Today 4-2. You love to see it. A couple of those hits were the plus 115 from Mike McLaurin, the plus 105 from the sniper. The SportsLine picks come through, and just a tough break for Larry Hartstein. Karl Anthony Towns ends with 11 rebounds. He had those 11 rebounds in the third quarter and could not pick up his 12th, partially due to foul trouble. So he gets stung. We get stung by the hook there. Speaking of Larry, let's go ahead and bring in the stars of the show because we've got a great cast. And that includes Mike McLaurin in the chat, by the way, in Fantasy Life, and Joe Neuenfeld, and Mark Buckholtz, Tyler Graham, Richard Pierre. We got Larry. We got Buckets. We got PropStarz. We got Tom Casale, and we got a lot of picks and a lot of things to talk about. Before we get to the picks, Larry, I do want to start with you. Tough beat on the Karl Anthony Towns play. That was clearly a great bet. Should have cashed probably in the third quarter. With all that said, that game featured the New York Knicks winning, but Jason Tatum not only probably being out for the rest of this season, but maybe next season as well. Your reaction to that injury?
Yeah, devastating. He was playing great game, 42 points, and I hope it's not as long-term as it appears. But the point I want to make, we don't want to overshadow the fact that the Knicks made the comeback and had the lead and were in control of the game when he did get hurt. And I think Joe Mazzulla has a lot of answering to do. Drew Holiday was locking up Jalen Brunson, gets his third foul. You sit him down, Jalen Brunson goes off. You're playing these games with foul trouble like it's a regular season game. Jalen Brown sitting out, so many minutes. Yes, he had 5 fouls, but he's a superstar. Get him on the court until it's too late. So, but yeah, this series definitely looks over. But I would not be surprised without Tatum if Boston wins Game 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. PropStarz, your reaction to the injury and also maybe the futures odds, because you were on CBS Sports Network with me yesterday saying, hey, you all got to look at the Pacers. They've got long odds and they're viable. You all got to look at the Denver Nuggets. They've got long odds and they're viable. I mean, this does open it up for pretty much everybody else, does it not?
Certainly does. Yeah, the Pacers move from plus 1,500 to represent the Eastern Conference to just plus 900 after the Tatum injury. Obviously, as Larry mentioned, just devastating for Tatum. Had a Herculean effort in that game, had his 4th career 40-point playoff performance, really had put Boston on his back in that game. But yeah, credit to the Knicks, though. I've been impressed with their resolve. Jalen Brunson just continues just to be brilliant in crunch time. He's a magician in the fourth quarter or any sort of clutch situation. So I'm looking forward to this Knicks-Pacers series that I feel is inevitable at this point. And I think the Pacers are a very live dog, considering you can get them at a good price, I think, of around plus 200 to advance versus the Knicks here. So looking forward to this series that I ultimately think we're going to see soon.
Tom, you strike me as a bit old school. You got to love the idea of a Knicks, Pacers, 80s, 90s. I mean, I'm thinking like the Dale Davis and his brother, Rick Smits, Reggie Miller, and of course the New York Knicks. That's got to be, from an old school standpoint, that's a nice little matchup, is it not?
It's funny you should say that, because last night I texted my friends who are all Knicks fans, old school Pacers, Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals. But hey, no Charles Oakley, my favorite basketball player ever. That's how I used to play on the playground, baby. I wasn't that good, but I was like 260, so I would just hammer people. But we don't play that way anymore. Hey, listen, I was on HQ a couple months ago talking about I had to come up with a futures bet, and I took the Pacers to win the East, so I betted it like 30-1. And I don't know how you watch everyone play and not think the Pacers are clearly the best team in the East right now. Not just the last few games, but the last month of the season. I mean, they have it all for me. And I know the Knicks are going to be tough, but listen, I think, fool me once, fool me twice. What do the Celtics need to win? What, get a 40-point lead? They keep getting leads. The Knicks keep coming back. I mean, I think the series is over. We're just looking towards that Indiana-Knicks series, which, listen, that's going to be a good one. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7 games, but I do like Indiana there.
You strike me as the Anthony Mason type more than Charles Oakley, but I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Buckets, you're back from vacation. I know we have some soccer picks to get to in just a second, but how was vacation? Are you settled back in?
Yeah, settled back in. Excited to be back. Florida's a great place, but I am a little bit scared of the sun, so I'm kind of happy being back in my little cave here.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's get to some picks. We got so much more NBA to talk about. Maybe we need our own special show for that. But Buckets, talk to me about a couple of plays for the pitch.
Absolutely, Sia. One of the most difficult parts about capping soccer, hands down, is understanding the fact that some teams don't care. You're going to have certain weeks where you're going to have teams that have everything to play for and teams that might not even show up. They won't play their best 11, and you got to kind of figure out what teams are motivated. In Italy's Serie B, which is the second tier of Italian soccer right now, we are in our final match day. Some teams have already been promoted. Some teams have already been relegated, and we really had to lock in to find what teams need to show up. I'm looking at the matchup between Sudatrol and Bari, and we're taking Bari draw no bet at -130. If Bari do anything other than win this game, they have zero chance of promotion. They are staying in Serie B. Nothing changes for them. If they win this game, they have a chance of getting into the promotion playoffs. Some other things have to happen, but if they don't win the game, it just doesn't matter here. Bari is the better team. Sudatrol are at home, but they don't have anything to play for. So we love Bari on the draw no bet at -130. And I do like them on the money line as well, or possibly the team total if you're feeling a bit riskier and want those plus numbers. For our second play, we're going to La Liga. We've got Real Valladolid taking on Girona, and we're taking Girona over 1.5 team total at -120. Still a little bit of juice here, but again, we're focusing on the teams that need to show up. Girona was in Champions League this season, and now they are facing a relegation battle. They have to get points out of this matchup, and they're playing a Valladolid side that first has the worst defense in all of Spain right now. They conceded 85 goals this season. And second, they're already relegated. So Valladolid, it doesn't matter what happens to them this game. They have no chance of staying in La Liga, which means Girona has everything to play for. Valladolid has nothing to play for. I love the team total here at -120. And over 2.5 team total is +280. Again, if you want some risky plus numbers.
All right, risky plus numbers. We're going to definitely consider that. A lot of people in the chat have a lot to say, but Mike McClory says, my Girona. You love that reference. Let's go to the NBA PropStarz. Talk to me about one Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. has been a massive disappointment for Denver throughout the postseason. Really struggling right now. Seen his regular season average decrease from 18 points to just 10 points per game. He shot over 50% in the regular season. That number is just 40% in the postseason. Despite having next to no depth either, Denver can't even play him for significant stretches, including crunch time, just because of how ineffective he's been on both ends of the court. He's a turnstile defensively. And then if he's not offering anything offensively, he really just can't be out there. And particularly, he's been just dreadful on the road, where he's averaging 7 points a game in the playoffs. He's been under this line of 11.5 in 4 of his 5 road playoff games, and he's shooting sub 30% from the field. Then when you couple that with the fact that he's playing a team in Oklahoma City that's tremendous defensively, particularly the perimeter defense, suffocating, and also on the road in OKC where they're double-digit favorites. I have a hard time believing he's going to see more than 25 to 28 minutes. He'll have to come out of the gate shooting well, which, again, he just hasn't been able to do on the road in the postseason. So I think this is a good spot to fade MPJ under 11.5 points tonight.
All right, MPJ under 11.5 points. A couple of promos to talk to you about, one involving the PGA Championship. And don't forget, on this SportsLine YouTube channel, the early wedge will be at 7 o'clock doing our best bets for that PGA Championship. Again, 7 o'clock on the SportsLine YouTube channel. BetMGM players will receive a no-sweat token to apply to any first-round leader bet in the PGA Championship. To use the token, add a first-round leader bet to your slip and activate the token. If your bet loses, you'll receive bonus bets. Also, BetMGM account holders will receive any MLB Parlay Boost token. To use the Parlay Boost token, add an MLB Parlay and activate the token. If you win, you will receive extra winnings only at BetMGM. Speaking of first-round leaders, we will discuss those on the show tonight. But perhaps if you can't watch the show tonight and watch all the bets from the entire team, maybe I'll bring at least my first round leaders to the show tomorrow. I think that, especially with this BetMGM promo, sounds like the right thing to do. SportsLine picks, more NBA. We're going Jared Allen over 12.5 points at -125. That is courtesy of Stephen O. And then we go to Isaiah Hartstein over 19.5 points and rebounds at -112 from Prop Bet Guy. We got a lot of bets still to cover, more baseball, more basketball. And PropStarz, I do want to ask you about the NBA draft lottery after the break. We've got our home run model, a lot to do right after this break.
From the first swing to the final hole, recap the PGA Championship with Clubhouse Report. Thursday on CBS Sports Network.
We are back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Before we get to our next picks, we've got a couple of baseball picks to go, NBA picks, and I know there's a lot of baseball picks and NBA in the chat, which I'm going to try to get to some of those. PropStarz, the NBA draft lottery was yesterday. It didn't come with a lot of buzz. It just kind of snuck up on us, in my opinion. Some of the worst teams got some of the worst results. I'm talking about the Washington Wizards, the Utah Jazz, who I think 5th and 6th pick, and they were, the two worst teams in the NBA. We had the Dallas Mavericks at a 1.8% chance get the number 1 pick. I don't even know how to set this up, so I just want to get your reaction.
Well, it was nice to see the Jazz not get rewarded for completely tanking, in my opinion. Cooper Flag going to Dallas, that's a very interesting trio. We're talking about Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Cooper Flag. I also think Dallas has solid depth, and I really like them prior to all the injuries they sustained after the Anthony Davis and Luka trade. So they have a new franchise cornerstone. I think they're going to be very good defensively with Anthony Davis and Cooper Flag. So I think it's obviously huge news if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. Will be interesting to see what happens with Nico Harrison there. But yeah, obviously great spot to be Dallas right now. And then looking at the San Antonio getting the 2nd overall pick, adding to that incredible core with Tom Casale, De'Aaron Fox, which is a tremendous backcourt. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama there as well. So excited to see what San Antonio is going to do. And then the Sixers getting the 3rd overall pick. Also good news for them, clearly coming off of just the terrible campaign that we witnessed. So, yeah, I thought it was a great lottery, very interesting, and I'm excited about the draft.
Can I ask you just one follow-up? Do you think – you don't think there should be any changes to the lottery process, do you?
I don't personally. I think that you don't reward teams that are specifically going out of their way to lose. So I like the fact that a team with, potentially a playoff caliber roster like Dallas had can get the 1st overall pick. So, yeah, I like the current setup as is.
All right. A lot of conspiracy theorists as well with respect to that 1.8% chance, but I'll just leave that at that. Okay, Tom, let's get to some Major League Baseball. Was that a dab or was that a sneeze, Buck?
No, that was a sneeze. That was not a dab.
Well, it could have been both. Let's make that a GIF, Ben, if you could. All right, Tom, talk to me about Brendan Pfaadt.
Yeah, I'm going Brendan Pfaadt over 4.5 strikeouts. I was actually hoping this would go up to 5.5 so I could get plus money instead of laying the juice, but it hasn't done so before we got on here. But I would, if it is at 5.5 at plus money, I like that even more because I do think he gets to 6 tonight. He's gone over this number in 5 straight and 6 of 8 overall. And the reason I really like this matchup is the Giants strike out a lot, 353 times this year. That's 8th most in Major League Baseball. And I just like the way Pfaadt is pitching. And another thing, whenever I'm looking at strikeouts or outs, I want a guy who's gonna be in the game, right? And he's averaging 91 pitches. He's gone at least 6 innings and 6 of 8 starts. So I think if we get that 6 innings tonight, we go over 4.5 strikeouts. So I like Brandon Pfaadt to hit that number.
All right, Brandon Pfaadt over 4.5 strikeouts, and we could look for a 5.5 to get some plus money there. Big Cheesy says Max Strus over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. PropStarz, any thoughts on Strus?
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. Yeah, Strus is going to be counted on. Multiple guys operating at less than 100% when we're talking about Cleveland, potentially without Donovan Mitchell there. So you're kind of free rolling because you get a big spike in usage if Mitchell does, in fact, miss the game. So other guys are less than 100% as well. So I expect the ball to be in his hands some. And Cleveland, big favorite in the game. So it should hopefully be competitive for 4 quarters. Yeah, that looks good.
All right, Brad Morris says Winnipeg Jets team total over 2.5 at -135. We've got the Dodgers run line, -1.5 at +105 from Rick Funcannon. It's Adam says Phillies first 5 over 2.5 at plus money, +120. A lot of picks in the chat. That's just a handful of them. Larry, we got to get 2 picks from you. One, if you don't mind, in the NBA, and one in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon is having an amazing series. He is just a matchup problem for OKC. You could play his PRA. There are a lot of different ways to attack it. He's shooting the ball over 54% from deep, but I'm going to attack his rebounds over 6.5. This guy's averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. I would still play this over 7.5 for half a unit. You're going to get much better odds than -139. Chet Holmgren, a great player, but he is just getting bullied a little bit by Aaron Gordon. 16 rebounds last game. He's on the floor. As long as it's not the massacre that we had in game 2, other than that, Aaron Gordon has played 38, 39, and 46 minutes. He's indispensable, especially in this series if they have any chance to win Game 5 in OKC. Either way, I think it will be competitive, unlike Game 2. I went over 6.5 boards. And then in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays are back to 500. They have won 4 straight. Their offense has woken up 29 runs in the last 4 games. Not just Springer and Guerrero. They have a young guy, Addison Barger, who is red hot. He homered yesterday, has 6 RBIs in the last 4 games. And they're hosting a Rays team that just can't hit. The Rays are just terrible offensively. The Rays are starting Shane Baz, who has been lit up. 13 earned runs in his last 2 innings. Barrios at home. He's been solid for Toronto. I would play this one up to -130.
I'll tell you, I've got a play as well. It's not for the show. I kind of need to graduate to making the play, but check out on SportsLine. I think I've got a pretty solid play. It's a little juicy, unfortunately, in a first 5 market in MLB. So go to sportsline.com later and check in on my baseball pick. Speaking of baseball picks, Big Cheesy says Jose Ramirez, Gurriel, and Freddie Freeman 1+ hit parlay at +175. He likes that. And I think we had something from Dustin Wiles on Mookie Betts, 2+ bases at +130. A lot of baseball bets. Speaking of baseball, let's take a look at the home run chart. Yesterday's home run chart had pretty tremendous value. 2 of the 3 hit. I don't know if anybody is taking these. I think people are, but 2 of the 3, it was James Wood and somebody else on that chart that hit a home run. Here we've got Juan Soto +380 versus +425. Jonathan Aranda +350 versus +500. Again, the bigger number is what the real odds are, and the smaller number, of course, is what the SportsLine model thinks the odds should be. And then is it Robert +300 versus +425. So a lot of value here. Juan Soto, Aranda, and Robert. Some good value. Let's try to go 2 for 3 again. That would be, Cal Raleigh. Tyler Graham, thank you. Cal Raleigh was the other one that we had on the chart. So really good stuff from this SportsLine model. And again, if you're a SportsLine member, you get access to the SportsLine model. Whatever you want to see, you're going to be able to see it at sportsline.com. CL Defense says, great night. Cash day +2,600 home run parlay with Woods and Raleigh. Thanks to the SportsLine crew. Wow. That's amazing. Absolutely love to see that. All right, Buckets, let's go around the horn before we get to the recap screen. Anything in the chat that you need to address?
People are asking about the other 2 La Liga fixtures. We've got Real Sociedad and Celta Vigo and Sevilla versus Las Palmas. Those are very frustrating games because, again, you're finding mixed teams on what they have to play for. I actually like both teams to score in all 3 of the La Liga games, but I only like the over in Girona. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw 1-1 draws, both in Sociedad and in Sevilla. Sia, that's fun.
That is fun. Larry, I noticed you were typing away in the chat. And by the way, not only is Mike McLaurin there with Larry and so many others, but Danny Brasco has also entered the chat. Larry, anything to address?
Just that Donovan Mitchell is vowing to be out there on the court tonight with his team facing elimination. They didn't really reveal what the MRI showed about his ankle, but laying 7.5 looks like they expect him to give it a go.
I do want to get PropStarz your comments on that side. But Tom, anything in the chat that you need to address?
No, I just want to say, make sure, you get in the Discord. I think it's a great tool for SportsLine, and I'm waiting patiently for NBA playoffs to end so I can get in that college football Discord channel and get it rolling. But let me say this. I like August 30th, 31st so much that I've already started writing my best bets column, and it's May 13th. So we're going to get it rolling with college football here soon. It's coming.
Well, when can we expect like the first morsel of college football, whether it's in Discord or whether it's an article or whether it's on this show or anywhere else? Like, when would that first piece of information or maybe that first bet come out from you? Approximately.
So the lines will start rolling out in June a little more, like the futures and stuff. I already have things that I'm looking at. I'm just waiting for lines. So usually once the NBA playoffs end, that's when the college football lines start ramping up. But I'll just say this. I don't want to get people too excited, but
please,
there's no way Notre Dame should be favored on the road against Miami. And I'll leave it at that.
Oh, here we go. Are you guys feeling the adrenaline rush? Are you feeling that? Because I'm feeling it. That's amazing. Numbers Edge. Of course, that's Mike says. Probably about 30 days until we get real numbers to bet in college football. PropStarz, your reaction to anything you just heard, but also this Pacers line with the Cavaliers. Any thoughts there?
Shout out to Danny Brasco and Mike McClure. As far as the Pacers are concerned, again, I'm puzzled by this line. Cleveland has not shown very much outside of one game against the Pacers. So I do think they should be favored in the game. 7.5 points seems like a lot to me. I think it's going to be competitive. I think Cleveland has some quit in them as well. So wouldn't shock me if this game's over at halftime. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think the Pacers take care of business either this game or the next game. I do not see it going 7 games.
All right. So that's a pretty strong take from a guy who's been on the Pacers since these playoffs started. Eric David says, first of all, Joe Neuenfeld says, I have goosebumps. Eric David says, when Casale's eyes get that big, it's time to make another deposit on BetMGM. Oh, that's a really good transition point to getting to our recap screen, which hopefully is a third winning recap screen in a row. We went 10-3 coming into Monday. We went 4-2 coming into today with a couple of plus money plays there as well. We're laying some juice here, so we'll see. We have really good vibes heading into a third winning recap screen in a row. We're going to start it off with the Maestro, Aaron Gordon over 6.5 rebounds at -139, and the Blue Jays money line -123. We got MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. under 11.5 points from PropStarz. That's -110. And then, here we go. Sudatrol versus Bari. Bari draw no bet -130. And Valladolid versus my Girona. Girona over 1.5 team total -120. And then Brendan Pfatt over 4.5 strikeouts at -165. But we're not done yet because we've also got Jared Allen over 12.5 points at -125, courtesy of Stephen O. And Isaiah Hartenstein over 19.5 points and rebounds at -112 from Prop Bet Guy. No pick for me today, but I might put one on SportsLine in the next few hours. And don't forget, a lot of my prep this week has been PGA Championship related. I will be on the early wedge with Jason Sobel, with I believe Patrick McDonald is going to be there, and Eric Cohen also going to be there. We're going to give out all our best bets for the PGA Championship on this SportsLine YouTube channel. All right, Larry, Buckets, PropStarz, Tom Casale, thank you for joining us. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us, hitting the like button. I think we got over 100 likes. Let's go for 150 tomorrow. It's going to be an amazing cast tomorrow as well. Big thank you to Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. And again, Aubrey, it's Adam, Jen M, Eric David, Big Cheesy, Joe Neuenfeld, Mr. Big, Danny Brasco, Mike McClure, everybody, Sox Nation, Paul. Thank you for being in here every single day. Really, really appreciate you. We're going to see you next time on The Early Edge. We rest our case.